No, I'll go ahead and I'll talk about the Institute first. I'm literally going to be like 30 seconds. I'm just going to say, please welcome the training of a junior food policy institute. Research and action center, working on a range of food policy issues, how to market. Good evening, everyone. So we're going to get started in a couple of minutes. So if you could take a moment to grab your seat, maybe grab something to eat, something to drink, and yeah, we'll get started. I think it's fine. All right, good evening, everyone. I don't know why I always have to lean over when I'm at this podium, even though you can hear me just fine. My name is Craig Willingham. I'm the Deputy Director here at the CUNY Urban Food Policy Institute at the CUNY Graduate School of Public Health and Health Policy. And thank you for taking the time out to come to our training today. The CUNY Urban Food Policy Institute is a research and action center that works on a range of food policy areas, one of them being counter-marketing. And for those of you who don't know what counter-marketing is, you're in for a real eye-opener today. And with that in mind, I'm going to be brief and pass it over to my colleague Sharita, who's going to be leading the training.
Thanks, Craig. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all so much for coming today. My name is Sharita Johnson, and I oversee all of the youth food council marketing initiatives here at the CUNY Urban Food Policy Institute. And we want to welcome you for coming. And we also want to extend our sincere gratitude to the Levitt Foundation for the funding for this project. They support all of our youth food council marketing initiatives, and we're very grateful to have that funding and support. So I want to remind you all, if you haven't already, please sign in the sign-in sheet. There's also a feedback survey in your training packet, so please make sure to fill that out. Even if you have to leave early, filling that out will help us make the best training as possible. And we also want you to have fun today, so make sure that you enjoy this training, have fun, feel free to share and interact with one another, and let's get started. Okay, so before we jump into it, there are a few ground rules, okay? So we want you all to know that everyone has a voice, but can be by choice. So if you are not comfortable speaking up, you don't have to, but if you are comfortable speaking up, we welcome you to speak up. We want you to share your ideas, and we want this to be a space where we learn from each other. We all work in different neighborhoods, we work at different organizations, so we want to learn from each other's experiences. Feel free to take breaks when you need to. We have restrooms as well as a water fountain right outside the door. The restrooms and the water fountain is on your left-hand side once you exit the doorway. And ask questions and have fun, okay? Did I miss anything? Is there any ground rules that should be added to this list? Or we think we got it covered? Got it covered? All right, cool. I also wanted to remind you all there are name tags in your folders as well, so feel free to put on your name tags, fill them out so that we can refer to each other by our names, first names. All right. So throughout the training, there are going to be some terms that you are going to hear frequently, and we want to make sure that everyone understands these words so that you're not lost throughout the training. So the first word is marketing, and marketing, simply put, is the action or business of promoting and selling products or services. Next, we have big food company, and you're going to hear this word a lot. So big food companies, they are the primary producers of ultra-processed foods, and they're also multinational food and beverage companies with huge and concentrated market power. Companies such as PepsiCo, Coca-Cola, Frito-Lay, etc. These are big food companies, McDonald's, etc. And these companies sell these ultra-processed foods which contribute to diet-related diseases such as obesity, diabetes, high cholesterol, and we'll talk a lot more about that later. And last, we have council marketing. So council marketing is defined as campaigns that use health communication strategies to reduce the demand of unhealthy products. And what makes council marketing unique is that it exposes the motives of their producers. So if the producers are offering misleading information about the products, or if they are offering or presenting misconceptions about their products, that's what council marketing aims to do. It aims to expose the untruth and the misleading information. Does anyone have any questions about the definitions or anything? Okay, cool. And if you want to follow along, we also printed out the PowerPoint and it's in your training packet, so you can use that as well to follow along and take any notes if you want to. So here are our goals for today's training. So first and foremost, we want to talk about the marketing strategies that big food companies use and how they appeal to young people, to us. How do they make us buy their products? We also are going to discuss how marketing impacts health. How does marketing contribute to the high rates of diet-related diseases that we see in the neighborhoods that we work and live in? We're also going to define and discuss food council marketing. So previously we discussed council marketing, but food council marketing is a little bit different, and we'll talk about that later. And last but not least, we're also going to explore some youth food council marketing initiatives. So how many of us in this room work with youth? So the majority of us work with youth. So the majority of us in this room either work with youth, we're either a youth staff person. So we're going to talk about some youth food council marketing initiatives later on in the training. And so by the end of this training, we hope that you will all have a good understanding of council marketing, food council marketing, as well as predatory marketing, and how it impacts the health of youth in our communities, and also our health as well. So we're going to get started with an icebreaker. And this icebreaker is a way to get you guys moving a little bit and also get you guys engaged and interacting with one another. So I want you all to open up your training packet. And on the left-hand side, or the right-hand side of the training packet, you should either see a corporation's name or a restaurant's name or an item's name, or a picture or logo for that corporation. So what I want you to do is to find your partner. So you want to match your logo with the respective name. There are going to be multiple people that have the same logos and have the same name, so you have to go around the room and find your partners, okay? So when you find your partners, there's two things that you need to do. You're going to introduce yourself, and then you're going to answer the two questions, discuss the two questions. You're going to answer what do you think are some of the most widely recognized food brands, and then you're going to discuss what are the most prevalent unhealthy advertisements that you see in your community or where you work. And we're going to give you guys about 5 minutes to do that. Okay? So get started. Chris? You don't have anyone with Starbucks. Let's see. If you can't find someone with your logo or company name, just join a group. We have 2 more minutes left for this activity. Hi, how are you? Thanks for coming. Okay, if everyone could make their way back to their seats, that would be great. Awesome. Did we all like that activity? Yeah, awesome. Can I have a volunteer or two share what you and your group or partner talked about when it comes to some of the most widely recognized brands, as well as the most prevalent and healthy advertisements that they see in their community or where they work? Any volunteers? Yep.
I can tackle the second one.
Yeah, sure.
I think what we discussed, I guess, it's a mix of us not really paying attention to ads as mostly the average person, but it's really about like logo placement and brand placement. So we spoke about at sporting events in particular, where they're not literally saying eat Domino's or drink Sprite, but you just see it all over the sports team dugout or the billboard or before they break into commercial.
Right, so it's like that brand recognition. Awesome. Anyone else? Yes.
Yeah, my group, we mentioned like McDonald's, very known, like Pepsi, Kellogg, and then when we talk about on top of the advertisements, we talked about how McDonald's tries to smoothies, cappuccino,
Right.
trying to be more health conscious, but it's not really true.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of like fried chicken, liquor,
Mm-hmm.
you see in the neighborhood.
Right. Awesome. Great. Thanks for sharing. Would anyone else like to volunteer? No? Okay, great. So we did that activity for one to get you guys talking and to know who's in the room and who's here. But we also did this activity because all of us know that advertisement is so prevalent. We're bombarded by advertisements when we walk down the street, and it's so easy for us to recognize brands, specifically those unhealthy brands. So most of the brands that I heard you both mention were unhealthy brands, you know, so it's very easy for us to recognize those brands. And as we go deeper in the training, we'll discuss why that is. So now we're going to shift focus a little bit and get into some background information. And the background information supports why counter marketing is important. So here we have some maps that represent social conditions and diet among New York City residents. And the dark areas on the maps represent the South Bronx, North and Central Brooklyn, Southeast Queens, and East and Central Harlem. So how many of us work in those communities or those areas? Right. So a good bit of us works in those areas. And so I want you to keep in mind that the darker the color, the worse the problem is in that area. So the map all the way on the left represents fruit and vegetable consumption. The map in the middle represents sugary drink consumption. And the map all the way on your right represents poverty. So these maps show that fruit and vegetable consumption is lower in the South Bronx, North and Central Brooklyn, Southeast Queens, and East and Central Harlem. Additionally, sugary drink consumption as well as poverty is higher in those areas. So let's take a look at the maps that represent health disparities across New York City. So do we recognize any similarities between the maps that were on the previous slides and these maps? Yep. Anyone want to volunteer what's the similarities or say what the similarities are? No. All right, so basically, these maps illustrate that the areas with the highest rate of diet-related diseases such as obesity, diabetes, and hypertension, which are illustrated on these maps, are also the same areas that experience the most poverty, the areas that have the most sugary drink consumption, as well as the areas that have the lowest fruit and vegetable consumption. And most of us work in these areas, and we know that these are high-need areas, so we're not really surprised by what the data is depicting. But, you know, it shows that we still have a lot of work to do as public health professionals, as food justice advocates, as healthy food advocates. And these neighborhoods are home to tens of thousands of young people and their parents. And, you know, it's unfortunate that we're still fighting a lot of adversity when it comes to creating healthier communities. So now that we have some background information, let's discuss food counter marketing and how it promotes poor diets, especially among youth. So as we mentioned earlier, food marketing is the promotion or selling of goods, and approximately $4.2 billion is spent yearly on food marketing, and it's mostly for junky foods. A portion of that, $116 million, is spent on healthy food advertising, and that is only 3% of the food marketing budget. So everywhere we go, we're bombarded by food ads when we walk down the street. Sometimes when we're on Facebook, we see ads for foods, when we're playing games. So unhealthy ads are prevalent, they're everywhere. And because they're prevalent and everywhere, it makes it so easy for us to recognize those unhealthy food ads, right? So research has found that unhealthy food ads is correlated with poor diet, greater fast food intake, as well as sugary beverage intake, and diet-related diseases, like we discussed earlier, such as obesity and diabetes. So how do companies make their foods appealing to us? And they have to have a marketing strategy. And a marketing strategy is a company's plan for reaching people and getting them to purchase their products. So in this image, there are 10 food brands, and these 10 food brands, they dominate food. They dominate food production. So when we go to different retailers, most of the foods that are sold there are made by these brands. And these are big food companies, so they have a lot of market power. So there are multiple strategies that big food companies use when trying to make their products more appealing. And some of these strategies are very subtle, that they're termed tricky techniques, because we don't really recognize they're a marketing strategy because they don't look like one to us. So let's go through some of those tricky techniques right now. All right, so the first one is using celebrities, right? And putting familiar faces on packages. So everyone loves Beyonce, right? We have Beehive members in here, right? Yes. Everyone loves Beyonce. I love Beyonce. And, people love LeBron James as well. And so whenever I facilitate training with youth, a youth food content marketing training, I always ask them, name a celebrity and a product that they endorse. And hands down, they always say LeBron James and Sprite and Beyonce and Pepsi. And that's because they are familiar with the branding. That's a strategy that these companies use to appeal to fans of Beyonce, fans of LeBron, as well as youth. The next marketing strategy or tricky technique is claims. So claims make products seem healthier than what they really are, or better for you than what they really are. So Snapple claims or markets itself as being made from the best stuff on earth, right? However, did you know that a 16-ounce lemon Snapple contains more sugar than a regular-sized Snicker bar? So it's as if you're drinking liquid candy when you drink a Snapple. So do you really think that it's made from the best stuff on earth? No, right, exactly. So the Snapple contains 36 grams of sugar, and the Snicker contains 27 grams of sugar. Right. So the next technique or marketing strategy that companies use is branding, right? So they create logos that are visually appealing, easy for us to remember, as well as easy for us to recognize. So they use bright colors, clean lines, all of that to help us to visually recognize the brand. And they spent tons of money and do tons of research in order to create a unique brand identity. Next is special designs. And special designs are limited edition designs. So how many of you have been seeing these Coke bottles in the store recently, right? They're everywhere. And this is a limited edition Coca-Cola product, and it's part of their widely popular Share a Coke campaign. And so the purpose of this campaign is to go out into a store, find a Coke bottle with your name on it, and share it with a friend. And what's interesting is that if you have a name that's not widely popular like myself, you can go online and purchase a personalized bottle for $5 with your name on it. Right? Crazy, right? Another thing that's really interesting is that, say if you tried to personalize the bottle with tooth decay, obesity, or diabetes, you won't be able to do that. And the reason for that is that, the company's got a lot of backlash. And we know that if we drink too much soda, this is what can happen to us. We may be at risk for diabetes, tooth decay, or obesity. So the next marketing strategy is catchy jingles or slogans. So logos are the visual representations for brands, whereas slogans or jingles, these are the audio representations of brands. So they develop catchy jingles and slogans to mesh into their unique brand identity. So now we're going to play a little bit of a game. And you see we have all of these slogans and all of the parts of jingles on here. So I want you guys to guess which slogan or which company makes each slogan. So the first one is I'm loving it. McDonald's. Yeah, you all know that one. This one, melts in your mouth, not in your hands. M&M's. I didn't think you guys were going to get that one. Good. Okay. Bet you can't just eat one. Lay's. Yes. Okay. This one is a dead giveaway. American runs on Dunkin'. Okay. The best part of waking up. Okay. Wow. Okay. And the last one, we all know this one, right? Subway. Okay. Are there any other catchy jingles or slogans that you guys know of that like stuck in your head all the time and you can't get out? Okay, like a rock, Chevy. Cool. Yeah, for tricks. Yeah. Anything else? Okay, cool. Next, we're going to talk about incentives or promotions. So this marketing strategy involves buying a product in order to enter a contest or sweepstake. So how many of you all have seen these box tops on different General Mills products? Okay. So box tops are on select General Mills products, and they can be clipped in order for schools to redeem to get 10 cents towards their school. And so what's interesting is that some of the products that have these box tops are really junky. And so junky like Reese's Puff cereal, Cinnamon Toast Crunch, a lot of junky foods. So it's not only encouraging parents to buy these products, but it's also encouraging youth to eat these products as well. Next, we have product placement. So how many of us have been at the grocery store and saw that candy at the checkout aisle or that soda or that gum and was like, yeah, I need this, I need to get this, and made that impulse purchase? I'm guilty all the time. For gum, I'm guilty. And so this is a marketing strategy as well, product placement. So here we have an actual display in a Walmart in Columbia, Missouri, and this was a back-to-school promotion or ad or whatever. What do you notice about this setup? It's exactly. So it's targeting kids with the crayons, and not only children but their parents as well, because their parents have to buy them the soda or whatever. So this, in essence, this display was set up to attract children as well as their parents. And the last tricky technique or marketing strategy that we're going to talk about is Pester Power. So youth have a very high purchasing power, and they have the ability to influence their parents' buying decisions as well. So imagine being in a crowded store with your crying child, and the only way to get them to stop crying is to buy them the chips that they want. Chances are you're going to buy them those chips because they're crying and you want them to stop crying. And Pester Power is the ability for children to nag adults or their parents and influence them into buying certain products. So there was a recent study that came out in England, and they found that Pester Power costs the average parent about $600 a year. So in New York City, we have 1 million parents, and imagine if all those parents were impacted by Pester Power and spent $600 on their child. That's $600 million a year that big food companies are getting because of Pester Power, because of children nagging their parents into buying products for them. So big food companies, they target youth because they believe, for one, they are impressionable, but they also believe that appealing to youth while they're young can, one, develop brand loyalty in them and make them lifelong customers and consumers, which equals more money for them in the long run. So now we are going to put what we've just learned into practice. We're all about reinforcement here. You all can stay in the groups that you are in now, and each group is going to get a print advertisement. And what I want you to do along with your group members is identify the marketing strategy or the tricky technique that is in that advertisement. And when you're done, I want you to answer these 2 questions with your group members. Would the strategy that was used, the marketing strategies that were used, encourage. And you're also going to discuss, do you think the marketing strategy will encourage or discourage a young person you know from eating the product? Why or why not? And just to cue your memory, here are the marketing strategies, and Ashley's going to help me pass out the advertisements. You guys, I'm going to give you guys, let's say about 5 minutes to start once it's all handed out. We have 2 more minutes for this activity.
I want to think it would, it's another version of the cereal.
Okay, are we ready to get back to the training? Yeah, okay. Are there any groups that would like to volunteer? Tell us what ad they had and also tell us how their discussion with the questions went. You guys? Okay, yeah, sure. So what ad do you guys have? They are edible. Okay.
So we said that for us, like, if it's for us, we'll see that we're not encouraged to buy it. But if it was kids,
Yeah.
the colors, the cartoon, the branding, Adidas is giving shirts.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's like an incentive. Yeah.
So kids would totally want to buy it.
Right.
The cartoon.
And the cartoons. Awesome. Good job, guys. Anyone else? Yep. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you think it would draw any of you guys to buy it by reading the ad? Probably not. Okay. Any other? Yep. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What ad do you have? Okay. Right, the convenience. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah. That's a good point because it actually leads us into our next section, which is targeted marketing. And so targeted marketing it's a strategy as well that can disproportionately impact the health of vulnerable groups. So targeted marketing is marketing that appeals specifically to a group of consumers whom a company has identified as attractive for its business. So when you think about targeted marketing, it makes, pretty good business sense. You want to target a certain group because you want to create products that appeal to them and products that they like. Especially when it comes to Black and Hispanic populations, it makes pretty good business sense. And the reason for this is because Black and Hispanics, they represent the largest and fastest growing demographic in the United States. Hispanic consumers spend more than $1 trillion per year. They also tend to have larger households as well as younger households. So when your household is younger, big food companies see this as an advantage because they can develop brand loyalty in that group while they're younger and result in lifelong purchasing strategies that are culturally relevant and designed to appeal to specific racial and ethnic groups is not the issue. The issue is targeted marketing that promotes foods of low nutritional value, such as fast foods, sugary drinks, high sugar cereals, as well as energy drinks. So this study right here, conducted by Lucan and others, it was put into the Journal of Urban Health this year in 2017. And the name of the study is called Unhealthy Food and Beverage Advertising in Subway Stations, Targeted Marketing, Vulnerable Groups, Dietary Intake, and Poor Health. And this study highlights how unhealthy marketing is more prevalent in low-income and Black and Hispanic communities. And I also want to shout out that one of the investigators of this study, Dr. Andrew Morocco, is actually a faculty member here at the Graduate School of Public Health. So let's take a look at the results of this study. So what the researchers did, they rode all 7 subway lines in the Bronx, New York, and they also assessed 1,586 print ads in 68 train stations. And they found that there were no ads that promoted healthful foods and beverages, such as vegetables and water. They also found that most of the ads were for unhealthy foods, such as chips, sugary drinks, and even alcohol. 40% of the ads were directed towards minorities and Spanish speakers, and keep in mind that most of these ads were unhealthy ads. More than a quarter of the ads were directed towards youth, and less helpful ads were also placed in vulnerable areas. So areas that had high poverty rates, areas where there were more Hispanics, Blacks, as well as children, areas where there were lower high school graduation rates, and also communities where they were facing diet-related challenges. They also found that the less helpful ads correlated with higher sugar, sweet, and beverage consumption, diabetes, hypertension, and high cholesterol in the surrounding area. So this study highlighted that targeted marketing is being done in low-income communities, in communities where more African Americans and Hispanic individuals reside. So now we discussed how food marketers target vulnerable groups. Now let's take a closer look at how they target youth. And this video by Food Mythbusters shows exactly how they do that. So let me exit out of this PowerPoint and pull up the video.
Food companies tell us they're just doing their job, serving up exactly what children and teens are asking for. But are these foods really what kids want, or are they what corporations are pushing on our kids? And who is being too controlling when it comes to food? Moms like me who insist on carrots instead of Cheetos? Or food corporations who spend roughly $2 billion a year on ads specifically targeting children and teens? Ads telling kids what's cool to eat. Foods that are cheap for companies to make, easy to brand, and designed to be addictive. All ingredients for huge profits. To get these answers, we'll have to look at what these flashy ads aren't telling us. Like almost 1 in 3 kids eats fast food every day. Nearly half the calories children and teens eat now comes from fat and sugar. And how many are getting enough fruits and vegetables? Only 16%. No wonder pediatricians are seeing diet-related illnesses in young people alarmingly on the rise. Heart disease, high blood pressure, asthma, obesity, type 2 diabetes, even cancer. What we eat and drink is literally a matter of life and death for America's children, like my daughter, Ida. So here's Ida, and here's a bunch of kid-friendly, highly processed food. My job is to keep her healthy, but let's see what I'm up against. First, her biology. These products aren't food as we normally think of it. They've been engineered to target Ida's evolutionary impulses. Because fat and sugar are so hard to find in nature, her brain has evolved to want as much of both as she can get. So when food companies offer them to her at levels she could never get from real food, she'll drive me crazy for it. Still, I can just say no, right? Well, they're not just using Ida's biology against me, they're working on her psychology as well. A typical kid sees nearly 5,000 TV ads for food and drinks every year. Almost all of them will be for products high in sugar, salt, and saturated fat. Watching these ads leads kids to prefer specific brands and triggers them to eat more calories, period. To make these ads, the food industry hires experts to exploit how Ida thinks, even how she sees. They figured out what colors she responds to best and what kinds of characters she'll love most. Creepy, right? Can I just turn off the TV? It's not that simple. See, the industry has figured out it takes an average of 9 nags to get a typical parent to cave in and buy a product like Fruit Loops. They know TV isn't enough to get those nags, so they figured out ways to infiltrate all aspects of Ida's life. In first grade, her teacher might use a math book sponsored by Oreo cookies. In third grade, she'll be targeted online and through social media with free branded games and apps, offering prizes and awards in exchange for her personal information. In fifth grade, she might get enlisted to raise money for her school through My Coke Rewards, pulled into a soda marketing program just to get her school some basic gym supplies. In seventh grade, she'll be seeing junk food product placements in her favorite movies and TV shows. By the time Ida graduates from middle school, 1 in 3 of her classmates will either have diabetes or be on their way to getting it. Maybe she'll be one of them. Of course, I'll resist, though this will paint a very strange picture for Ida. On the one hand will be sports heroes, singers, and friendly tigers. They'll be aligned with junk food designed to manipulate her biology, psychology, and even her friends to make her crave it. On the other hand will be me, her mom, appealing to her still-forming rational mind to make healthy choices. I'm going to fight as hard as I can to do this, since nothing is more important to me than keeping my kids healthy. And I might win, because kids do love fresh, healthy food when they're given the choice. I've seen it with my own kids and thousands more across the country. And because these choices are available where I live and I can afford them. But so many families have no access to real food, as supermarkets disappear and fast food franchises pop up in their communities. This is a battle parents can't and shouldn't have to fight on their own. The food industry has spent millions lobbying to take away the government's power to regulate them, putting in place their own voluntary rules. And what do we get? A national epidemic among our children. It's time for we the people to step back in. We can stand with the parents, teachers, mayors, doctors, all across the country who have won real victories in this fight. Like the school administrators in St. Paul, Minnesota, who banned school-based marketing of junk food and sugary drinks. Or the grocery chain owner in Maryland, who decided to take kids' products that feature cartoon characters off his shelves. Or the people of Quebec, who passed a ban on fast food advertising to kids and saw a 13% decrease in fast food consumption. We can work together to scale up these wins and more like them. Let's choose policies to put healthy food within the reach of everyone. And let's demand that companies stop using cartoon characters to tell kids what to eat. Imagine our power if we realize we're in this life and death struggle together. And that together we can make sure that for any kid anywhere, it's easier to get apples and clean water than Doritos and a Coke. Look, if what kids really want is highly processed food, put them on the shelves where we can choose them or not. But keep them off of our TVs, our phones, our computers, and especially out of our schools. We don't need corporations telling our families what to eat.
Okay. So, thoughts on the video? Very nice. Was any of you shocked by the information presented in the video, Arlen?
I thought they did a really good job presenting it. The one thing I will just say is that I think
Sorry.
diversity more of this.
Sorry, it doesn't want to stop.
I think we need more diversity in this vote.
And the spokesperson?
Because it's a lot of times it's a attractive white woman.
Mm.
And that's why I think it's a really great job with, this program and you leading it and having more of a diversity, and especially for like, if you talk about targeting messaging,
Mm-hmm.
this is like going for the mom heartstring.
Right, exactly.
But we need more of kids and kids.
Right.
So that's why this is awesome.
Right, and that's why we have this training.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It would be great if someone created this for kids and kids.
That's a good point. Awesome, thanks, Arlen. Any other comments on the video? So we wanted to show this video because we wanted to highlight how junk food marketers target youth and also the different strategies that they use. They not only use Pester Power, but they try to target their psychology and biological function as well. And it also highlights that, as I mentioned earlier, just to piggyback, there is a lot of work to do, and we have to get policymakers on board and, people who have official leadership in our communities on board with these types of initiatives and also behind council marketing initiatives as well. So we talked a little bit about this earlier, about how in African American and Hispanic communities, there's a higher prevalence of unhealthy marketing, but research has shown that Black and Hispanic youth receive a double dose of unhealthy marketing compared to their Caucasian peers. And the reason for this is that they're more likely to live in communities where unhealthy food marketing is more prevalent. Additionally, they may be exposed to more of the media where food-related products are being advertised. And research conducted by Nielsen and the Association for Convenience and Fuel Retailing illustrated that Black and Hispanic youth consume 4.5 more hours of media per day compared to Caucasian youth. So they are being exposed to more media and likely more unhealthy marketing as well. So researchers from the University of Connecticut, they wanted to take a deeper dive and they wanted to investigate whether Black youth are in fact being targeted more compared to their Caucasian peers. And they found that Black youth viewed 70% more food-related ads and 60% more fast food-related ads compared to their white peers. Additionally, Black teens saw 17.5 ads per day compared to white teens that only saw 7.5 ads per day. Black teens also saw 2 times as many ads for junk foods, such as sugary drinks and energy drinks. And 40% of the ads were for junky foods, such as candy, snacks, soda, and other sugary drinks as well. They also investigated whether or not Hispanic youth were targeted more by with unhealthy marketing. And they found that more than 1/3 of the ads that Hispanic youth saw were for fast food ads, as well as other unhealthy restaurants. They also found that 25% of the ads that Hispanic youth saw were for junk foods such as candy. And they also saw that almost 50% of the ads promoted fast food restaurants. So we can see, based on the research that the University of Connecticut has conducted, Black and Hispanic teens are targeted more compared to white teens, and that's where the disparity lies. So I think now is a good time for a 10-minute break. So if you want to grab some refreshments, if you want to use the bathroom, stretch your legs, go ahead and do that, and we'll regroup in about 10 minutes. Okay, we're going to regroup in about 2 more minutes.
That's what I'm doing.
Oh, cool, cool, cool. Okay, we're going to get started again. So I'm going to ask if everyone can kindly make their way to their seats. Okay. Right, so I want to mention that we do have a hashtag for this event. So if any of you are tweeting or on Facebook, Instagram, or whatever, we do have a hashtag Count to Marketing that you can use and tag your pictures with. And something that we failed to do earlier was go around and do introductions and say which organization we're from, just so that everyone knows who's in the room and what organizations are here. So, Chris, your table, I'm going to ask you guys to start.
Hi, I'm Chris Palmero. I'm with the School of Public Health and Food Policy.
Hi, my name is Mariama. I'm part of the hospitality.
Thanks for coming.
Sorry. My name is Mariama, and I'm part of the Hudson Valley team. This is upstate. My name is Mariah Rosales. I'm from Southgate. My name is Maya Stansbury. I work at Catchy Farm as a
Awesome.
Hi, I'm Marissa Finn. I'm a garden leader that will be at my seat here in St.
Hello, my name is Donna Kelly, and I am the founder and executive director of Family Full-Time Chapter, and we are a brand new not-for-profit
Hi, I'm Elizabeth. I'm a traffic.
Awesome. You can go to the table in the back.
Everyone in East Philadelphia is very young, so it is
You guys can. Thanks for coming. Did you come from Queens?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Thanks for coming. Oh, awesome.
Hi, I'm Lauren. I'm from Harvard Health Harlem Neighborhood Health Action Center. I am the director of nutrition and flexibility in schools of Hi, I'm Maria Fernandez.
Okay. Awesome.
Hi, my name is Lauren Power. I work at the Drug Department in
Okay.
Hi, my name is Maria Brett, and I work for the Student Hospital Health Program, which stands for Teaching, Healthy, and Active Lifestyle for Kids.
Hi, everybody. My name is Melody, and I also work with CHOP, and also CHOP Junior. We're working with early childhood centers, and yeah.
Awesome.
Hi, everyone. My name is Yolanda Flores, and I'm a nutrition manager at City Harvest. I'm here with my colleagues.
Perfect segue.
Hi, my name is David Bartolome. I'm the development director.
My name is Sharon Nathaniel. I'm with City Harvest. I'm our community engagement manager for Northwest Queens.
Awesome. Yeah. Awesome. Awesome. Thanks for coming.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Lauren Harris. I'm a board member of the Mother Foundation.
Awesome.
I am Margaret Greenberg, also from
Awesome. Thank you all so much for coming. And in the back, we have Ashley Raffalo. She oversees our operations and communications here at the Institute. Awesome. Great. So now let's get into food council marketing, which we are all here for, right? So we're going to discuss in this section how food council marketing can be used to fight against unhealthy food marketing and make our communities healthier. So what exactly is food council marketing? So food council marketing describes activities that decrease the consumption of unhealthy foods. And the purpose of food council marketing is to go against or oppose the marketing of unhealthy products. So we can encourage people to eat healthier, right? Which we do through a lot of nutrition education programs. But unless these efforts are coupled with those that discourage people from eating unhealthy foods, then the health impact will be modest, which we have seen through a lot of research on nutrition education interventions. So what council marketing does, it helps to shine the light and expose how food and beverage companies target their marketing as well as manipulate consumers into purchasing their products. Food council marketing can also help to empower targeted groups such as youth, which we talked about earlier, to advocate for themselves and hold these companies accountable for what they're doing when it comes to the health of themselves as well as the health of their communities. One thing I want you all to keep in mind is that there is a distinguisher between food council marketing and other health education approaches. And that is food council marketing has the explicit intention to disrupt the food industry's ability to appeal to the public and influence their purchasing as well as their consumption of unhealthy products. So let's take a look at a food council marketing example. So here we have a regular print ad for McDonald's, right? It says McDonald's, I'm loving it. And McDonald's wants to market their brand as one that everyone can love and enjoy. So here is a counter marketing image that is going against this McDonald's print ad. And this counter marketing image was actually developed by one of our students in our Youth Food Educators program, which is a program that we have here that trains youth ages 13 to 18 on how to develop their own counter marketing campaigns against unhealthy foods. And we also train them on how to be healthy food advocates in their communities. So they go out and do workshops and presentations on food council marketing as well as unhealthy food marketing, and they talk about the campaigns that they created during the program. So what the student wanted to show was that, you know, when it comes to McDonald's, it can cause diabetes if you eat too much of it, and instead of loving it, you're going to end up hating it. So the student wanted to expose the truth behind McDonald's, and this is what council marketing is, exposing the truth. So raise your hand if you've ever heard about the Truth Campaign. So most of you have heard about the Truth Campaign. So for those of you who haven't, the Truth Campaign is a national, youth-led, anti-tobacco counter-marketing campaign. And this campaign was successful in reducing smoking among youth. And counter-marketing through the Truth Campaign has been shown to reduce unsafe behaviors and reduce the demand for harmful products such as cigarettes. And the reason for this is because it exposed how tobacco companies were deceiving youth into smoking their harmful products. So unlike traditional health education on tobacco, what the Truth Campaign did was that it urged youth not to be suckers and not to be deceived by the tobacco companies who were marketing their products or marketing cigarettes as being cool when it was really harmful and causing cancer. So food counter marketing, it intends to use those same strategies, just like tobacco counter marketing and the Truth Campaign did. So it aims to expose how the food industry manipulates people into buying and consuming their products that these companies know are unhealthy, products that these companies know are causing or a contributor to the diet-related diseases that we see in our communities. And however, they know this, but they still market it to underserved populations and to youth. So food counter marketing also intends to give community members an agency and a voice to fight back against these predatory marketers. Food counter marketing is one of the various strategies that disrupts companies' ability to sell unhealthy products to young people. And it also supports healthy food choices along with policy change, which we all know, healthy food and beverage promotion, nutrition education. I heard that there was a lot of nutrition educators in this room, as well as increasing affordability and availability of healthy foods. And so coupled with all of these things, food counter marketing can help make the healthy choice the easier choice. So why youth food counter marketing? Why should we get youth involved in food counter marketing initiatives? And the thing about counter marketing is that it's very effective among youth who do not want to be told what to eat, drink, or do. It gives youth that autonomy and that agency and authority over what they choose to consume, as well as a voice to fight back. So youth, they are a valuable resource when it comes to health communication and promotion. And I know a lot of you probably have experienced that because most of you in this room work with youth. They're also very convincing communicators with their peers and family members. How many of us have been convinced by whether a younger sibling or, a student or even your own child into doing something? I mean, most of us, right? So they're very convincing. Youth are immersed in their communities, so they go to school in their communities, they play in their communities, they hang out, they're immersed in their communities. They're also very familiar with using social media and how to interact with each other. So they have their Snapchat and Twitter and Facebook and all of that. So they're very savvy when it comes to social media and being able to, and knowing how to reach the masses by using social media. They're also very energetic, passionate, and committed. And I want to take this time out to shout out one of our Yofi alumna, and her name is Dukere, and she's in this photo here. And she is one of our outstanding Yofi alumna. She loves the program so much, and she's actually working with Grow MIC right now as one of their interns in their youth market. And she mentioned to me a couple of weeks ago that she was so thankful for the Youth Food Educators program because it exposed her to youth food justice as well as food counter marketing. She's able to speak with her peers as well as her family members about making healthier choices and also resisting unhealthy marketing. And she said that this was a pathway to help her know what profession she wants to take when she gets older. So I feel that we should have these opportunities to create spaces for youth to engage in youth food justice initiatives as well as youth food counter marketing initiatives as well. They just need that support and that backing, and I'm sure that's why all of us are here in this room, because we love working with young people and we want to offer that support to them. And youth food council marketing is important because when you work, we all know that habits are, we all form our habits earlier in life, right? So studies have shown that chances are if you're obese as a child, you're most likely going to be obese or overweight as an adult. And we want youth to be exposed to these youth food council marketing initiatives and programming so that they can make these healthier choices while they're young and hopefully carry them into adulthood as well. So let's take some look at some food council marketing initiatives and campaigns. And over here to your left on the easels as well as on the walls, these are some images, food council marketing images that were developed by youth that we worked with in our Youth Food Council Marketing Program, the YOFI program, Youth Food Educators Program, or that we've worked with worked on Youth Food Council Marketing initiatives on. So the posters on the easels, those were done by students at A. Philip Randolph High School, which is a high school in Harlem. And then the posters that are on the wall, those were all created by our Youth Food Educator Program participants that are targeting various fast food companies as well as snack companies and sugary beverage companies. All right. So we're going to take a look at this video, and this video was created by Howard County Unsweetened for their Bev Rev campaign. And what this campaign does is it wants to target sugary beverage companies, and it wants to make it easier for parents to serve healthier beverages to their children. What I like about this campaign is that they use youth, so youth are the voice, and it's very youth-focused and youth-driven. So let's take a look at that.
The ads. It's kind of a fair arrangement, certainly better.
Sorry, let me put the volume up.
Wow, they really are close to Congress.
Hey guys! Do you get the problem now?
Okay. Thoughts on that video? Anything you liked, didn't like?
Well, the youth that were leading that whole
Right.
there.
Which is great, right? Mm-hmm. Awesome. Any other comments? Yes, Arlen. Exactly, very succinct. Yep. Awesome. Right, so we have a couple more images that we would love to show you guys. So this image is actually over there. So this image was developed by a student from A. Philip Randolph High School. And what the student wanted to do was to highlight the harmful effects of sugary drinks and how it may lead to diabetes if you consume it too often. So it says, here's a little bit of advice that can change your life. Sugar-filled drinks may cause diabetes. Diabetes can make you blind. Don't let sugar blind you. Oops, sorry, went ahead too fast. And this image right here, this was developed by a participant in our Youth Food Educators Program, and she wanted to target Arizona beverages. So we all know that Arizona has a large can size, which is part of its brand identity. It's also fairly cheap. It's 99 cents for a huge can of juice. And their slogan is, I love big cans. So the student wanted to portray their hate for Arizona's big cans. So they put I with a broken heart representing hate, big cans. They wanted to show that they hated the big cans and its damaging effects on the body if it's consumed too much. Damaging effects meaning weight gain, diabetes, etc. This image right here was part of a campaign called Two-Face that students in our Youth Food Educators program developed. And what they wanted to do with this campaign was expose the two sides of Ronald McDonald. So the one side of Ronald McDonald is that he's a happy, friendly clown, you know, but the other side is that he's a deceptive, scary, grim reaper, because the foods that he's marketing and promoting and encouraging children to eat can cause you to have an untimely demise if you eat it too often, or may cause you to have an untimely demise if you eat it too often, because they're loaded with fat, salt, and sugar. This image right here was also part of a Youth Food Educators campaign called Hack the Menu. And for those of you who are not familiar, this is actually a meme. Do you guys know what memes are? Yeah, right? So memes they're easily shared virtual images that are usually pretty humorous and funny. And so what the students that developed this campaign wanted to do, they wanted to expose the non-food, unhealthy, and hidden calories in fast food items. So this meme says, when you find out that one biscuit from Popeyes is 260 calories, and the lady is distraught, she's crying because she didn't know that a biscuit could have that many calories. Right? No more biscuits, Arlen, no more Popeyes. All right. So this is also part of a council marketing campaign done by one of our Youth Food Educators students, and the name of this campaign was called A Toast to Death. And the students wanted to use a different medium for their campaigns. They wanted to use t-shirts, and they wanted to be a walking campaign with these t-shirts. And so they created shirts that targeted Pepsi, Dr. Pepper, and Coca-Cola. And this shirt right here is targeting Pepsi. So what the students did, they altered the logo for Pepsi, the brand logo, as well as the slogan. So on the top, they inserted red skulls, and usually on the Pepsi logo, it's just red on top. And in the bottom, they put dying for now, which is the opposite of Pepsi's slogan, living for now. Great. So we took a look at some of the council marketing images and campaigns that some of our students have done. And when it comes to developing their campaigns, there's 8 key elements that we always tell them to try to include in their campaigns, because our colleagues here at the CUNY Urban Food Policy Institute, they did some research and they found out that successful tobacco council marketing campaigns contain, if not all, most of these key elements. So we're going to go through these elements right now. And I've also included a handout explaining that goes more into detail about these 8 key elements in your training packet. And you can find that handout in our Youth Food Educators Toolkit, which is available on our website for free. So they found throughout their research that effective or successful council marketing campaigns always communicate negative health effects. They also always mention how industry is manipulating consumers into buying their products or being misleading about the effects of their products. These campaigns also spark negative emotions, whether it be outrage or disappointment or being sad. They always spark some type of negative emotion. They mock popular brands. So as we saw with the Dying for Now campaign or Toast to Death campaign that our students did, and as you can see on the walls here, they mock popular brands. They also tailor their campaigns for a specific group. So these campaigns are targeted. So if it's a youth-centered campaign, they do advertisements and they have materials that are youth-centered, and they also make sure to involve youth. So they make sure that the campaigns are tailored. They also disapprove of the industry marketing their products to at-risk groups such as youth, African Americans, Hispanics, low-income individuals. They also establish a distinct council marketing brand. So as we're all familiar with the Truth Campaign, right? And we're all able to recognize the Truth Campaign as being orange and white when it comes to their logo. So they have established that very distinct marketing brand. Just like how big food companies do as well, they have a distinct marketing brand. And they also engage users in all phases of the campaign, such as the Truth campaign did. Whenever you see an advertisement for the Truth campaign, youth were always in that campaign because they were targeting youth. So it's very important to whoever your campaign or is targeting that they're involved in it as well. So I want you to keep these 8 key elements in mind as we go forth and do the next activity, which will be our last activity for the night. So, like I mentioned earlier, we're all about reinforcing and putting what we learned into practice. So I want you all to design your own mini council marketing campaign or mini council marketing food initiative. So what you're going to do, you're going to use the things that you've learned in today's training to develop your own mini council marketing campaign against a food or a beverage company or an unhealthy food item. You can even decide as a group to use to target the companies that we did in the welcome activity in the Icebreaker. You can decide to do that as well. And in your training packet, you're going to find some resources that can help you. There's 2 handouts, and these handouts are from our Youth Food Educators Toolkit. One handout provides steps on creating a council marketing campaign, and the other one is a guide that can help you determine what your campaign will look like. So we're not going to have a lot of time to do an elaborate campaign, but just something pretty simple within the allotted time frame. We're going to give you all 10 minutes to do this. And we also have some materials on the back table that you can use. We have construction paper, markers, pencils, pens. We also have poster board paper if you guys want to use that to develop your campaigns. So feel free to do whatever you want. You can do a spoken word, you can do an image, you can do a short video if you can do that in 10 minutes, whatever you guys feel like doing. And we're going to pass around some examples so you guys can see what some youth have done when we do these mini council marketing workshops. Okay, everyone, we're going to regroup now. So I know that was a really quick time, but hopefully you guys have some ideas that you can share with the rest of the group. So is there any groups that would like to share, like, their ideas? Yes, the group in the back. Uh-huh. Ooh, Taco Hell, I like that. So if you guys can see the image, it actually is a bell with horns and like a tail. Do you guys want to pass it around so everyone can see? Awesome. That's a really good one. How you want? Oh, sorry. Uh-huh. I love that. Great job, guys. Awesome. Awesome. Anyone else want to share what they've done? Yes. That's uh-huh. Okay, cool. Yes, it definitely is. Would anyone else like to go? Let's do one more. You guys had a good one. Yeah, go ahead.
We have a little draft.
A first draft, good.
It's Pringles, and it's once you pop, the fun don't stop. But we said, once you pop, your heart will stop.
Nice.
A triple chin and a tear coming down his eye.
Oh, wow. That's a good one. So you guys going to keep working on it, and then we could see the final results at the end? Awesome. Awesome. So I'm happy you guys are able to do your own mini council marketing initiatives. That's super exciting because it shows that I did a good job with this training. All right, so let's do a quick recap. And are there any questions? No? Okay. You want to see a couple more? Oh, yeah, sure. I mean, yeah, does anyone else want to show theirs or talk about theirs? Yeah? Okay, yeah, go ahead. That's fine. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Good. Oh, nice. Right, because he had that Cliff Bar. Interesting. Awesome. Anyone else? Yeah, go ahead. So dominant. Oh, so dominant N-O, like literally no to dominoes. Got it. Awesome. Awesome. Do you guys want to go? No pressure if you don't want to. Yeah, awesome. That's great. To show that the drink is flying, the person is flying? Oh, got you. Okay. Awesome. Okay, good. So you guys got a lot done in 10 minutes. Wow. You should feel accomplished and proud of yourself. Awesome. Exactly. Yeah, we want to show off the work you guys did. Oh, of course. Of course. So just to do a quick recap, we talked about food marketing, targeted marketing, marketing strategies, as well as council marketing and food council marketing. And so essentially we want you to leave from this training knowing that unhealthy food marketing impacts the health of communities, especially young people, because they're being targeted the most when it comes to unhealthy food marketing. Youth, especially Black and Hispanic youth, they are targeted the most, and that's why it's so important to get youth involved in these youth food council marketing initiatives, because they are being targeted the most and they need to have a voice against these predatory companies, and we can offer them these opportunities to have a voice against these companies. Additionally, food council marketing is a vital strategy that can be used to fight against unhealthy marketing, and we welcome you all to start your own youth food council marketing initiatives. And we've been launching or working on youth food council marketing for 2 years. We've had our youth food educators program here that has been supported by the Levitt Foundation. Thank you so much. And we invite you all with collaborations and also to join our New York City Youth Food Council Marketing Network. And so the New York City Youth Food Council Marketing Network is a group of organizations and individuals from across New York City that come together and work on youth food council marketing projects that engage youth. And so we have a sign-up sheet that we'll pass around, and we hope that you guys will be interested in joining this group. It's a group of organizations represented all across New York City that have youth programming. Some of them are just lawyers, like food lawyers, that are interested in food council marketing. So we invite you all to join this group. Additionally, we took some project votes on what we should do within the network and what projects we should launch, and we came up with 3 different projects. And because our initiatives are, we want to have input from youth, we're asking organizations to speak with their youth about these 3 project ideas and get feedback on whether or not they think it might be important or whether or not it might be appealing to them. And to help to guide your discussion, we've created 1-pagers as well as a short presentation on council marketing, as well as the potential project ideas. So if any of you are interested in presenting these ideas to the youth that you work with, that would be great, and we would greatly appreciate it. So if you can come speak to me afterwards and let me know that you're interested, I'll be sure to send you all of those materials. So yay, you made it through part 1 of the training. Congratulations. And the next training is going to highlight how to implement youth food council marketing initiatives at your organization. And we're going to send you all a follow-up email letting you know when the next training will be, so please be on the lookout for that. Before you leave, we want to remind you to sign the attendance sheet, just so we know that you're here and so that we can email you about the second training. And we also want to remind you to do that feedback survey. That is super important. We want to make sure that this training is the best training that it can be. And thank you all so much for coming. Thanks to the Levitt Foundation again for the support for this training, and we hope that you all have a great evening. Thank you so much.